Stop everything you're doing right now. What I'm about to share with you will fundamentally change how you understand your brain, your consciousness, and your ability to create the life you actually want. 3 months ago, I discovered something that's been hidden in quantum physics laboratories for decades. Something so powerful that when you understand it, really understand it, you'll never see yourself or your potential the same way again. Comment, "I'm ready for change," if you want to know what 99.7% of people will never learn about their own brain. Because here's what happened when I first witnessed this in action. I was reviewing brain scans of a 34-year-old woman named Lisa, who had volunteered for our quantum consciousness research study. Lisa was stuck. Completely stuck. For 8 years, she'd been trying to create the life she wanted. Better relationships, financial freedom, a career that actually fulfilled her. But nothing ever seemed to work out. She'd tried visualization, goal setting, positive thinking, manifestation techniques. Nothing created lasting change. But then we discovered something in her brain scan that changed everything. Lisa's neurons weren't just firing randomly. They were creating what quantum physicists call entangled states, connections that exist beyond the boundaries of space and time. But here's the shocking part. These quantum entanglement patterns in her brain were directly connected to the reality she was experiencing in her life. When we taught Lisa how to consciously control these quantum brain patterns, her entire life transformed in ways that still give me chills. Within 60 days, she met the man she would marry. Her income tripled. She started a business that became profitable in its first month. But this wasn't luck. This wasn't coincidence. This was quantum brain entanglement in action. Comment, "I want quantum transformation," if you're ready to learn how your brain can entangle with the reality you desire. I'm Marcus Steinberg, and for the past 12 years, I've been studying the intersection of quantum physics and neuroscience at the most advanced consciousness research facilities in the world. What I've discovered will challenge everything you've been taught about how your brain works and how change actually happens. Most people think their brain is just a biological computer, processing information, storing memories, controlling their body. But that's not even close to the truth. Your brain is a quantum field generator. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every intention you set creates specific quantum frequency patterns that literally entangle with the field of infinite possibilities around you. And when you learn to master this entanglement consciously, you don't just hope for change. You become the architect of your own reality. But before I show you exactly how this works, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. How long have you been waiting for your life to change? How many years have you been hoping that somehow, some way, things would get better? How many techniques have you tried that worked temporarily, but never created the lasting transformation you really want? Comment, "I've been waiting too long," if you're tired of hoping for change instead of creating it. Because here's what I need you to understand about why nothing has worked so far. You've been trying to change your life from the wrong level of reality. You've been focused on thoughts, behaviors, and actions, which are all surface-level phenomena. But real change happens at the quantum level, where your consciousness literally entangles with the field of possibilities that determines what becomes real in your experience. Let me tell you about Michael, a 42-year-old engineer who came to me completely frustrated with his inability to create financial abundance. "I've read every book, taken every course, tried every strategy," he said. "I visualize, I affirm, I take action. But somehow I always end up back where I started. It's like the universe is conspiring against me." Michael's brain scan revealed something fascinating and heartbreaking. His neural networks were indeed creating quantum entanglement patterns, but they were entangled with the frequency of lack and limitation instead of abundance and possibility. Every time he tried to visualize wealth, his brain was simultaneously generating quantum patterns that were entangled with his deep-seated beliefs about money being scarce and hard to come by. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while another station is playing at the same time. You get static and interference instead of clear reception. But here's what happened when we taught Michael the quantum brain entanglement protocol. Within the first week, his brain scans showed a complete shift in his quantum patterns. Instead of entangling with scarcity, his neurons began creating coherent entangled states with abundance frequencies. 3 weeks later, Michael received an unexpected job offer with a 60% salary increase. 2 months later, he launched a side business that generated more income in its first quarter than his previous job paid in a year. But here's the most remarkable part. Michael said, "It doesn't feel like I'm trying anymore. Opportunities just seem to appear. Ideas flow naturally. It's like the universe suddenly remembers that it's supposed to support me." That's quantum brain entanglement working the way it's supposed to work. Comment, "I want universal support," if you're ready to align your brain with the field of infinite possibilities. Now let me show you the exact science behind why this works, because understanding the mechanism will help you trust the process. Dr. Stuart Hameroff at the University of Arizona has proven that consciousness operates on quantum principles within the microtubules of your neurons. These quantum processes aren't just theoretical, they're measurable, observable, and most importantly, trainable. When your neurons fire in specific patterns, they create what physicists call quantum coherence, a state where particles become entangled across space and time. But here's what most scientists don't realize, and what we've discovered in our research. You can consciously direct these quantum coherence patterns to entangle with specific frequencies in the field around you. Think of it like tuning a radio. Right now, your brain is unconsciously tuned to whatever frequency patterns were programmed into you by your past experiences, your environment, your family conditioning. But when you learn to consciously tune your quantum brain entanglement, you can literally select which frequency of reality you want to experience, Dr. Penrose and Hameroff's research shows that quantum processes in the brain occur at the rate of 40 times per second. 40 opportunities every second to entangle with different possibilities. That means in the time it takes you to watch this video, your brain will have over 100,000 opportunities to entangle with a completely new reality. Comment, "I choose my frequency," if you're ready to consciously select your reality. Let me tell you about Sarah, a 29-year-old teacher who had been single for 6 years and desperately wanted to find her soulmate. "I've tried online dating, asked friends to set me up, put myself out there in every way I can think of," she said. "But I either meet the wrong people or the right people aren't interested in me. It's like I'm invisible to the kind of man I actually want to be with." Sarah's brain scan showed something that explained everything. Her neurons were creating quantum entanglement patterns, but they were entangled with the frequency of loneliness, rejection, and not being enough. Every time she went on a date or met someone new, her brain was unconsciously broadcasting these quantum patterns, which created field interactions that attracted people who resonated with those same frequencies. She wasn't attracting her soulmate because her brain wasn't entangled with the frequency of deep love and partnership. We taught Sarah how to shift her quantum brain entanglement from the frequency of loneliness to the frequency of magnetic love. The changes in her brain scans were dramatic. Within 2 weeks, her neural patterns showed coherent entanglement with what we call soulmate frequencies. But here's what happened in her actual life. 3 days after her brain patterns shifted, Sarah met David at a coffee shop. Not online, not through friends, but through what seemed like a random encounter. They talked for 4 hours. On their first official date, David said, "I feel like I've been looking for you my whole life." They were engaged within 8 months, but Sarah told me something that reveals the real power of quantum brain entanglement. "It wasn't just that I met David. It's that I became the kind of person who naturally attracts deep love. I can feel the difference in my energy, in my presence. I'm not desperately seeking anymore. I'm magnetically attracting. That's the difference between hoping for change and creating change through quantum consciousness." Comment, "I am magnetically attracting," if you're ready to shift from seeking to attracting. But here's where it gets really interesting from a neuroscience perspective. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research has shown that when people learn to create coherent brain states, they start attracting what he calls synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. But these aren't coincidences. They're evidence of quantum entanglement in action. When your brain becomes quantum entangled with specific frequencies, you literally begin to resonate with people, opportunities, and circumstances that match those frequencies. You start showing up in the right place at the right time because your consciousness is entangled with the field patterns that create those opportunities. Let me tell you about James. a 38-year-old entrepreneur who had been struggling to grow his business for 3 years. "I have a great product, I work harder than anyone I know, but I can't seem to break through to the next level," he said. "It's like there's an invisible ceiling I keep hitting." James's brain scan revealed the problem immediately. His neurons were creating quantum entanglement patterns with the frequency of struggle, effort, and having to work hard for everything. Even though he wanted success, his brain was entangled with the reality pattern of difficulty and limitation. We taught James the quantum brain entanglement protocol, specifically designed for abundance and exponential growth. Within the first month, James's brain patterns shifted completely. His neurons began entangling with what we call flow state frequencies, the quantum patterns associated with ease, inspiration, and exponential expansion. Here's what happened in his business. Week 2. A potential client he'd been pursuing for months suddenly called and signed a contract worth more than he'd made in the previous 6 months. Week 4. He received an unexpected email from a venture capitalist who had heard about his work and wanted to discuss funding. Month 3. His business had tripled in size, but James was working fewer hours than ever before. He told me, "It's like I stepped into a different universe where success is natural and opportunities are everywhere. The same actions that used to produce struggle now produce exponential results." That's quantum brain entanglement changing not just your inner experience, but the actual field of possibilities around you. Comment, "I want exponential results." If you're ready to entangle with the frequency of effortless success. Now here's what mainstream neuroscience doesn't want you to know about your brain's quantum capabilities. Every major breakthrough in human history has come from people who somehow learned to entangle their consciousness with frequencies beyond what their current reality suggested was possible. Tesla received his greatest inventions through what he called mental experiments, quantum entanglement with future technological possibilities. Einstein discovered relativity by imagining himself riding alongside a beam of light, quantum entanglement with cosmic consciousness. Steve Jobs created Apple by entangling with what he called the intersection of technology and liberal arts, a frequency that didn't exist in reality until he made it real. These weren't just creative insights. They were examples of quantum brain entanglement with fields of possibility that existed beyond the limitations of their current circumstances. And the same quantum processes that allowed them to access revolutionary ideas are available to you right now. Dr. Amit Goswami, quantum physicist and author, has proven that consciousness is the fundamental fabric of reality, not the other way around. Your brain isn't just observing reality. It's participating in the creation of reality through quantum entanglement processes. But here's the crucial part that changes everything. Most people's quantum entanglement happens unconsciously, automatically, based on their past conditioning and current emotional patterns. But when you learn to direct your quantum brain entanglement consciously, you become a co-creator of reality instead of just a passive observer. Let me tell you about Maria, a 45-year-old single mother who had been struggling financially for over a decade. "I work 2 jobs, I budget carefully, I do everything right," she said. "But unexpected expenses always come up. My car breaks down, my daughter needs something for school, medical bills appear. It's like I'm cursed when it comes to money." Maria's brain scan showed quantum entanglement patterns locked onto what we call survival frequencies, field patterns associated with scarcity, crisis, and just barely getting by. Her neurons had been entangled with these patterns for so long that they had become her brain's default reality setting. But here's what happened when we taught Maria the quantum brain entanglement protocol for abundance. First, we helped her brain disentangle from survival frequencies. This alone created an immediate sense of relief and possibility that she hadn't felt in years. Then we guided her neurons to entangle with abundance frequencies, field patterns associated with prosperity, flow, and financial freedom. The changes in her brain scans were remarkable, but the changes in her life were even more dramatic. Week 1. Maria's boss offered her a promotion she hadn't even applied for. Week 3. She received an unexpected tax refund that was 3 times larger than she had calculated. Month 2. An old friend contacted her about a part-time opportunity that paid more than one of her full-time jobs. Month 6. Maria had not only paid off all her debt, but had saved more money than she'd ever had in her life. But here's what she told me that reveals the real transformation. It's not just that more money is coming in. It's that I feel completely different about money. I used to live in fear that something bad would happen financially. Now I live with confidence that I'm supported by the universe. Money flows to me naturally because I'm entangled with abundance instead of scarcity. Comment: I am entangled with abundance. If you're ready to shift your brain's quantum patterns from scarcity to prosperity. Now let me teach you the exact protocol that transformed Lisa, Michael, Sarah, James, and Maria. I call it the Quantum Brain Entanglement Protocol. This isn't visualization. This isn't positive thinking. This is precision quantum neuroscience that literally rewires your brain's entanglement patterns with the field of infinite possibilities. But before we begin, you need to understand what we're doing from a quantum physics perspective. We're going to shift your brain from random, unconscious quantum entanglement to coherent, directed quantum entanglement with specific frequencies in the field. We're going to transform your consciousness from a passive receiver of reality to an active co-creator of reality. Comment: I'm ready to co-create if you want to become an architect of your own experience. Step 1. Quantum Field Awareness. 5 minutes first. We're going to expand your consciousness beyond the boundaries of your physical brain to connect with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Begin breathing slowly and deeply, allowing your nervous system to shift into a receptive state. Now, imagine your consciousness as a sphere of pure energy centered in your heart, but extending far beyond your physical body. Feel this sphere expanding, first to encompass your entire body, then to fill the room you're in, then to cover your entire neighborhood, then to extend infinitely in all directions. From this expanded awareness, you're no longer limited to the consciousness pattern stored in your brain. You're connected to the infinite field of pure potential that quantum physicists call the zero-point field. This is where all possibilities exist simultaneously, waiting to be selected and made real through conscious intention. Feel yourself floating in this field of infinite potential, surrounded by every possibility you've ever dreamed of, and many you haven't yet imagined. Step 2. Frequency selection. 7 minutes. Now we're going to identify and connect with the specific frequency patterns associated with your desired reality. Think about the life you want to create, not the details of how it will happen, but the feeling of already living that life. If you want abundance, feel into the frequency of being financially free and generous. If you want love, feel into the frequency of being deeply loved and cherished. If you want health, feel into the frequency of vitality and physical freedom. If you want purpose, feel into the frequency of doing work that fulfills your soul. Don't try to visualize specific scenarios. Instead, tune into the pure energy signature of your desired reality. What does abundance feel like in your body? What does love feel like in your heart? What does health feel like in your cells? Allow yourself to resonate with these frequencies until you can feel them as clearly as physical sensations. This is you identifying the quantum patterns you want your brain to entangle with. Step 3. Neural entanglement. 8 minutes. Now we're going to direct your neurons to create quantum entanglement with the frequencies you've identified. With your awareness still expanded in the quantum field and your heart resonating with your desired frequencies, place your attention on your brain. Imagine your neurons as quantum transmitters and receivers, capable of entangling with any frequency in the field. Visualize streams of pure energy flowing from the frequencies you've chosen directly into your neural networks. Feel your neurons aligning, synchronizing, and entangling with these chosen frequencies. As this entanglement deepens, notice how your brain begins to resonate with your desired reality. You're not just imagining these possibilities. Your neurons are literally connecting with them at the quantum level. Continue this process until you can feel your brain humming with the same frequency as your dreams. Step 4. Reality integration. 5 minutes. Finally, we're going to integrate these new quantum entanglement patterns into your everyday consciousness. Slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body while maintaining the frequency resonance you've established. Feel these new quantum patterns becoming part of your brain's operating system. They're not separate from you. They are you now. As you open your eyes and return to normal awareness, carry this frequency with you. This is your new baseline, your new normal. Throughout the day, whenever you notice your old patterns trying to reassert themselves, simply remember this frequency and allow your brain to re-entangle with your chosen reality. Jennifer, a 36-year-old graphic designer, had been trying to transition from freelancing to running her own design agency for 4 years. "I have the skills, I have some clients, but I can't seem to make the jump to the next level," she said. "Every time I try to expand, something goes wrong. A big client cancels, an expense comes up, someone better comes along. It's like the universe doesn't want me to succeed." Jennifer's brain scan showed quantum entanglement patterns locked onto what we call small business struggle frequencies. Field patterns associated with limitation, competition, and barely surviving. After learning the quantum brain entanglement protocol and practicing it for 30 days, Jennifer's neural pattern shifted completely. Her brain became entangled with what we call visionary entrepreneur frequencies, field patterns associated with expansion, innovation, and exponential growth. Here's what happened in her business. Week 2. A Fortune 500 company contacted her about a branding project worth more than she had made in the previous year. Month 2. 3 of her former clients referred their colleagues to her, creating a waiting list for her services. Month 4. Jennifer hired her first 2 employees and moved into a professional office space. Month 8. Her agency was featured in a major design magazine as one to watch. But Jennifer told me something that reveals the deeper transformation. "It's not just that my business grew, it's that I became a different person. I used to think small and hope big. Now I think big and expect miracles. My brain is entangled with success instead of struggle, so success feels natural instead of surprising." Comment, "I expect miracles," if you're ready to entangle your brain with extraordinary possibilities. Here's how to adapt this protocol for different areas of your life. For financial abundance. During frequency selection, tune into the feeling of being financially free. Feel the energy of money flowing to you easily and naturally. Entangle your neurons with prosperity consciousness. For deep relationships, connect with the frequency of being unconditionally loved and appreciated. Feel the energy of attracting your ideal partner or deepening current relationships. Entangle with soul connection patterns. For optimal health, resonate with the frequency of perfect vitality and physical freedom. Feel the energy of your body functioning optimally. Entangle with healing and regeneration patterns. For life purpose, tune into the frequency of doing work that fulfills your soul and serves others. Feel the energy of being in complete alignment with your highest potential. Entangle with purpose-driven success patterns. The key is to practice this protocol consistently. Each time you do it, you're strengthening your brain's ability to maintain quantum entanglement with your desired reality frequencies. Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz's research on neuroplasticity shows that it takes approximately 66 days of consistent practice to establish new neural pathways as your brain's default patterns. But with quantum brain entanglement, many people report significant shifts in their external reality within the first week of practice. That's because you're not just changing your brain, you're changing your brain's relationship with the field of infinite possibilities. Let me tell you what your life looks like when you master quantum brain entanglement. You wake up each morning not wondering what will happen, but excited about what you're going to create. Opportunities start appearing everywhere because your brain is entangled with possibility frequencies instead of limitation frequencies. People are drawn to you because your energy signature has shifted to match your highest potential. Problems that used to stress you become challenges that inspire creative solutions because your brain is entangled with innovation frequencies. Money flows more easily because you're entangled with abundance instead of scarcity. Relationships deepen because you're entangled with love frequencies instead of fear frequencies. Your health improves because you're entangled with vitality instead of stress patterns. Most importantly, you stop feeling like life is happening to you and start experiencing life as something you're actively creating through your quantum entanglement choices. Comment: I am a co-creator. If you're ready to experience life as conscious creation instead of random circumstances. Robert was a 52-year-old executive who felt completely stuck in his career and personal life. I make good money. I have a nice house. My kids are doing well, he said. But I feel dead inside. I go through the motions, but there's no passion, no excitement, no sense that my life matters. I've lost myself somewhere along the way. Robert's brain scan showed something I see in many successful but unfulfilled people. His neurons were entangled with responsibility and obligation frequencies, but completely disconnected from passion and purpose frequencies. He was quantum entangled with a reality of doing what he should do instead of what he wanted to do. After learning the quantum brain entanglement protocol and practicing it for 3 months, Robert's entire life transformed. His brain became entangled with what we call authentic expression frequencies, field patterns associated with living in complete alignment with his true nature. Month 1. Robert started writing a novel he'd been thinking about for 15 years. Month 3. He negotiated a 4-day work week to pursue his creative projects. Month 6. His novel was accepted by a major publisher. Month 12. Robert left his corporate job to become a full-time writer and had never been happier. But here's what he told me that captures the essence of this transformation. It's not just that I changed careers, it's that I remembered who I really am underneath all the roles and responsibilities. My brain is now entangled with authenticity instead of obligation, so every day feels like an adventure instead of a burden. Here's what I want you to understand about the neuroquantum community. We're not just people interested in neuroscience and quantum physics. We're conscious co-creators who understand that our brains are quantum instruments capable of entangling with any reality we choose. When you comment "I am quantum entangled" below, you're not just engaging with content. You're declaring to the field of infinite possibilities that you're ready to step into your role as a conscious architect of reality. You're joining thousands of people around the world who have discovered that life doesn't happen to them. It happens through them via quantum entanglement processes they can learn to direct. Here's your 30-day Quantum Brain Entanglement Challenge. Week 1. Practice the protocol daily and notice any shifts in your thoughts, emotions, or external circumstances. Track synchronicities and unexpected opportunities. Week 2. Focus on entangling with one specific frequency: abundance, love, health, or purpose. Maintain that resonance throughout each day. Week 3. Begin to trust the process even when your logical mind questions what's happening. Allow yourself to expect miracles. Week 4. Share your experience with others and notice how teaching deepens your own mastery of quantum entanglement. After 30 days, comment "I'm quantum entangled" and share your most remarkable transformation. What makes the neuroquantum community extraordinary is that we understand consciousness as the fundamental creative force in the universe. Most people live as victims of circumstance, hoping that external conditions will somehow change to make their lives better. But you're different. You understand that you can change your external circumstances by changing your internal quantum entanglement patterns. We're not just learning about reality, we're learning to consciously participate in the creation of reality. Comment "I am quantum entangled" below to declare your commitment to mastering the quantum creative powers of your brain. Subscribe to NeuroQuantum if you want to be part of a community that takes conscious reality creation seriously. Hit that notification bell because I'm going to be sharing advanced quantum entanglement protocols that can only be understood by people who have committed to this level of consciousness development. The truth is, most people will watch this video, feel inspired for a moment, maybe try the technique once or twice, and then go back to their old patterns of hoping for change instead of creating change. They'll continue living as victims of circumstance instead of masters of their quantum destiny. But you have a choice right now. You can continue living as though your brain is just a biological computer that processes information and stores memories. Or you can step into the truth that your brain is a quantum instrument capable of entangling with any frequency of reality you consciously choose. The science is proven. The technique is precise. The community is waiting for you. The only question is, are you ready to become a conscious co-creator of your own reality? Your brain is listening. The quantum field is responding. Your dream life is not just possible, it's inevitable when you master the quantum entanglement powers of your consciousness. Welcome to NeuroQuantum, where neuroscience meets quantum physics, and where you discover your true nature as a conscious architect of reality.